Trying to be doing that bullshit. On some good news. Welcome back, BS with Brian Simpson. I told you I was gonna be back. Baby. Video, high quality. Now we're gonna be on YouTube and audio, depending on how you want to listen. But we are back. And y'all know how we get down. We're just gonna be going over some of the big news stories that's happened recently, I guess. And do we start with the heavy shit or the light shit? What do you think, Rob?
Let's start with the heavy shit.
Okay.
And then we'll make it light.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So first thing, let's talk about the Joe Rogan situation. And this means especially to me because I'm one of the most recent black guests on the Joe Rogan Experience, and so I've been getting bombarded from both sides about the issue, right? So on one side, people are like, well, where are Joe Rogan's black friends? And someone literally tagged me in something, and it was like, where are Joe Rogan's black friends in his time of need? And they tagged like Israel Adesanya, me, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Kevin Hart. And it's like, look, first of all, Joe Rogan doesn't need my protection. Okay, he doesn't need me to defend him. He can defend himself, which he did pretty good, right? And thank God I did not get a call from Joe Rogan like, what do I do? Because that's not what you do when you get in trouble for something racial. You don't assemble your black friends to form a nigga Voltron around you to shield you from criticism. That's not the way to handle the situation. It doesn't work, first of all. I mean, when does that ever happen? No one gives a fuck what your black friend thinks about you. Coming out going, he's not racist, doesn't convince anybody, right? So thank God he didn't handle it that way. Also, Joe's fine. You can't cancel Joe Rogan. He's going to come back stronger than ever. Because anytime you try to cancel people over crazy bullshit, they come back stronger. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these white comics start leaking their N-word tapes to boost their careers.
That's gonna be the new mixtape.
Yeah, that's gonna be the new sex tape. It's like, oops, someone leaked. I don't know, right? But anyway, from the other side, some people have been like, coon, because I didn't come out and condemn Joe Rogan immediately. And let me explain something to y'all. I'm not gonna be fake so that you like me. All right, and it's like maybe a little over a month ago, and well before that, I'm not gonna sit there, break bread with Joe Rogan, take his money, have him go out of his way to make my career come true, my dream come true, thank him profusely, come back to people going, well, what is he like? And then I go, well, man, you wouldn't believe how thoughtful and generous and how much this dude cares about the comedy community. And then as soon as he gets in trouble, I go, never knew the motherfucker. I knew he'd been racist, never fucked with him. That's bitch nigga activity. I'm not gonna participate in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why I'm not condemning Joe Rogan. Now, again, I'm not defending nothing he said in the videos. The videos were fucked up. This is facts. The video was fucked up. The Planet of the Apes shit was hard to watch, but all I could do is tell you the truth about someone I know about, and this is something that a lot of people don't. This is actually to the comics, for real. But here's the truth. This is the fucking truth of the matter. If you've been doing comedy for, let's just say, 5 years or more, some people less, and I go back through and make a compilation of all the fucked up shit you said on stage or on podcasts or whatever, you be the fuck up out of here. You be the fuck out of here. And you wouldn't have $100 million parachute. You know what I'm saying? And the irony of it is that if that happened to you in a public way that was, big enough where it come to his attention, the first person that would be there to hand you a hand and go, fuck cancel culture, come on the pod and tell me your side, would be Joe Rogan. I know that's a fact. I know he gives a fuck about comics. I know he gives a fuck about the comedy community, so it's weird to see comics trying to cancel Joe Rogan over this, because he would be the first one there to help you. I don't even know if I can even talk about it, but he's opening up a comedy club where comics get meals just for being comedians, where comics get health insurance. I don't even need to say nothing else about the club. Health insurance for comedians, nigga. So, and again, I'm not telling you how you need to feel about none of this. What I'm telling you is that you don't get to tell me how to fucking feel about a goddamn thing. I'm just telling you the truth and what I know about somebody that I know about. You can feel however you want to feel, and call it whatever you want to call it. But that's all I got to say on this.
Do you feel like when people ask or demand that you opine about it, and you and other black guests that Joe Rogan has had on the podcast, do you feel like that comes in a sense of good faith, or do you think that that's a trap, or do you think sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't?
I think people have all manner of reasons. You know what I mean? But the truth is, listen, people gonna feel however they want to feel, because all the people that are upset are people that either A, wasn't fucking with him to begin with, and now this is just something to go, well, I'm still not fucking with him, or it's people that ain't really upset about any of the racial stuff. They're upset about the vaccine stuff, and they're also not gonna switch up how they think, or So I think most of it, when people ask me to speak on it, is mostly in bad faith. Because it's just like when people ask me about I can't even think of a good example, but it's like
well, there was a fucked up timing aspect of it where it's like they tried to cancel him over the COVID vaccine stuff, and it didn't work, and then they're like, all right, now bring in the inward compilation tape. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, listen, and a lot of people have the attitude of like, well, so what? He still said this shit on the tape, but it's like, but that's exactly my point, though. If I compiled every fucked up thing you've said, it would be crazy. But right after the vaccine thing, right after the other thing, they trying to get him the fuck up out of here, and they trying to use, like, to me it feels like they trying to sick us on Joe Rogan, like they trying to use the black community to help take him down or whatever, in a kind of sinister way, and and it's effective. It's not going to be effective in this instance, but it works. But to me, this is a distraction. To me it's the equivalent of like when they tried to tear down the statues. And it's like we sitting over here asking for reparations, health care in our community, protection from them infringing on voter suppression, and all of those sorts of things. And they go, well, take down this statue, and motherfuckers get on board, and it's some kind of like it's a toothless victory. It's like it's something we get to celebrate a victory, but nothing really changed. Nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And it's like this is empty. Nothing's going to happen. Let's just say for the sake of argument, this worked, right? And Joe Rogan was fucking out of here. What's different in the black community? What is different for us? Nothing. Because they don't want Joe Rogan up out of here for black people.
No.
You understand what I'm saying?
No,
they want 100%. They want Joe Rogan up out of here for them because they scared. They're afraid that they are. It's not even that hasn't happened. It scares the shit out of them. And when I say them, I'm talking about the mainstream media, and when I say mainstream media, I'm talking about the left and the right media, it scares the shit out of them that a fucking comedian podcaster is the number one media person in the world.
Oh, if you look at the numbers of people who listen to and watch Joe Rogan, it absolutely crushes any fucking cable news interview show or any of that bullshit.
Here's something I was talking about the homie with earlier. When I was a kid, there was really no such thing as right wing or left wing news. The news was the news. It wasn't no such thing, you know. And somewhere along the line, I think it was when Walter Cronkite retired or somebody, and he's warned us that like they started measuring the news on ratings, and then they came along with the 24-hour news when cable became something everybody had. They had to have a 24-hour news, and then ain't that much shit happening.
That was Ted Turner with CNN.
Yeah, and so they have to fill up all that time with something. The news, when I was a kid, the news was 1 hour every night on each channel, and then another hour or two in the morning when you woke up for the adults. And that was it. It wasn't a 24. Now we have several channels. There's 24-hour news and they got to fill it up with all these hot takes and all this. And and so that's when you started having not just the news, but people telling you how to feel about the news.
Yeah, but what's your perspective though on like prior to that sort of mid 20th century, the news is just about truth and it's like doesn't take sides and shit like that. Before that, news was fucking vicious. All like yellow journalism and Hearst like controlling different newspapers, and you had right-wing newspapers and labor newspapers. And
oh yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying the news was always pure. Mm-hmm. That's for sure, but I think.
But do you think that in some sense it's like back to what it originally was, almost like that was a hiccup, that sense of there being just the news, capital N?
I don't think it's a hiccup. Yes, I think it was a hiccup because like I said, I think because of the proliferation of cable news, the 24-hour news cycle, along with the fact that of the all year round campaigning. Right? Because that's another thing that changed at the same time. Was it used to be it was election season and that was that. Now it's like it's always election season. Like all the politicians now always act like it's election time, and so it's this whole. Anyway, I'm getting off track. The point I'm trying to make is that the reason Joe Rogan is the number one news guy is because people know they can go there and just see the news. It ain't nobody telling you how to feel. It's not a political. There's no right left because they try to make it seem like he right wing, which is also nonsense.
You don't think he's right wing?
No, I know he isn't. I've had conversations with this motherfucker, man. Like he might have share some right wing views or whatever, but hell no, this motherfucker is. That's the first place I learned about Andrew Yang. He's for universal basic income. He's for investing in the inner city. He's like all of these because actually a compilation came out today on I seen somewhere on Twitter of somebody be like they did the same thing. They made a supercut of him expressing all his liberal views, and it's like that's the point. They try to disparage people from watching Joe Rogan by labeling him something that they know you don't fuck with, and they can't really do it. They can't really label him anything to try to make him radioactive and make him toxic, and it frustrates them. And now they just fucked up. They emptied their gun. And like I said, he's gonna come back stronger than ever, and he's gonna make more comedians powerful. And they're done. It's over with. You know, the thing is that video been out, and he been talking about it in his act. So it's of course it's definitely calculated in the motherfucker, and I mean you cannot deny that. You know what I'm saying? So I and again, I ain't telling people how to feel. You know what I'm saying? But I feel how I feel, and I ain't gonna be fake about it.
Well, but it seems like some people are trying to tell you how to feel though, and that's the fucked up about
and
it.
that is the. And that's a microcosm of this whole situation, where it's like there is an opinion that is given to us, and that is what you're supposed to think, and that is what you're supposed to say, and that's how you're supposed to act. And the people that question it, even just question it, they coming for your neck. I mean, if you have any power, nobody gives a fuck if you on Twitter and you got 10,000 followers like me. They coming for the people that got that's in the millions. They coming for your neck because they see you as influential, and they want to be the ones influential. They're used to being the ones that are influential, and it kills them that they can't force you to do that. They said he was anti-vax, but he really isn't. You know what I'm saying? He's not telling anyone not to get vaxxed.
But didn't he say though on his podcast, and maybe this is taken out of context or something, but didn't he say, hey, if you're asking me, if you're 20-something years old, you're healthy, you exercise, etc., should you get vaxxed? My answer is no. Didn't he say that?
Maybe something like that.
But that being said, he might have just fucking changed his mind 5 minutes later too.
Yeah, but I also think anti-vax is a much stronger stance than that.
Really?
Oh yeah. Anti-vax and people that are anti-vax. Because here's another thing: the anti-vax movement didn't start with COVID-19.
Fuck no.
The anti-vax movement started with the first vaccine from the very beginning.
Also, anti-vax used to be more of a left-wing thing. Like if you were anti-vax 4 or 5 years ago, you were most likely left-wing.
Yeah, you're right. And while we were all distracted by the Joe Rogan thing, you know what was going on? They're fucking banning teaching true Black history in schools. Because people, every February, somebody comes up and goes, well, I think they should get rid of the whole month. I mean, why don't they just teach Black history all year round? Good question. They don't want to fucking do that. Because here's why they don't want to do that. If you teach Black history all year round, every time you teach about a white hero, you got to go, also, he owned slaves, right? So they don't want to do that. They don't want to teach it all year round. I wish they would just integrate it at all, because it is very strange the way they teach history in school. How they go, it's like Black people don't exist, even though we've been here since the beginning. But when they teach history, it's like we didn't do anything, and then when it comes February, then we go, oh shit. We invented that, and we were there when that happened, and we were there when this happened. So it's,
But that's because the point of history class is not to teach you about what actually happened. It's about to inculcate a particular type of mythology in your mind about the country that you live in.
Right. I mean, we get that. Regular school ain't about shit. Regular school is just to turn you into a good, decent worker, to suss out the kids that are talented and gifted and try to help them sort of kind of get into college with a reasonable amount of debt.
Were you a gifted kid?
I was a gifted kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a gifted kid, but they ain't know what to do with me, man. They didn't know what to do. They fucked it all up. I had a whole take from Tom Hartman, but I forgot to save it, but I need to find it. But there's something about children with ADHD and how they treat it. They treated it like it was a disorder, but in his day they had like a school where they let the kids, like you had to learn the basics, but they let the kids kind of learn whatever they wanted to learn. And then when they ran into a wall, then they made them learn the prerequisites to this. So if a kid was curious about something, but they couldn't understand it without these prerequisites, that's when they had to go learn those things. And so all these kids with ADHD, they didn't call it that back then, but they were sent to this school. It was up in Northwest, up in Massachusetts, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it worked. I don't know what happened to the school. I gotta, we'll talk about it on the next episode.
That scares the fuck out of people, though, when you start talking about, like, alternative ways of educating people and making space, accommodating people that have neurodivergent.
I've been talking about it for a long time. And if I ever had the money, I would start a school about it.
It's kind of what Montessori does a little bit, because Montessori is all about.
What is Montessori?
Montessori school is it's an alternative style of schooling where kids of different ages are learning together, and you learn about the things that you're interested in, but you learn about them from older kids. And so rather than the memorization and recitation of facts or just rote memorization, you learn through experience, but you also learn by teaching kids that are younger than you.
Oh, I like that.
And so it's sort of like a Russian nesting doll, where it's like...
Where is this place?
Well, Montessori's been around for a long time. There's Montessori schools in, I think, every state in the country. There's Montessori schools.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's interesting because the American education system has kind of gone back and forth between how much of it should be this sort of traditional...
Okay, you know what, Rob? I'm going to need you to stop being smarter than me on my podcast, please. Thank you. Do we have any other serious stuff?
I do want to talk about... well, this is semi-serious. This is more of a... these Olympians that are sort of getting the yips. You heard about like
the
yips?
The
yips, like the yips. Like the...
Nah, what's the yips?
The yips is like, when you it comes from baseball. It's where you just kind of get up on your own head, and you can't fucking perform, right? You're a fucking world-class athlete, and all of a sudden you can't fucking do shit.
And this is in China.
Yeah, this is in the Beijing Olympics. The term comes from American baseball, but I'm talking about there was widely considered to be one of the greatest slalom skiers of all time. And at the Beijing Olympics, she basically disqualified herself, got a DNF, did not finish, on 2 of her 3 events. And on the 3rd one, she finished, but she did not even podium. And they thought that she could go triple gold this year. And she was the crux of like a ton of different advertising about the U.S. Olympic team, in the same way Simone Biles was the crux of the Summer Games, right? And then she withdrew essentially from the games because of mental health issues. Say Naomi Osaka, is that her name? Naomi Osaka?
Yeah, Naomi Osaka.
The tennis player.
Yeah.
What's his name? The professional football player from the Bucks.
Antonio
Brown, AB. He like walked off the field, and
But what's the point? Are you saying it's foul play?
No, I'm wondering. I want to know what your thoughts are on what you think is happening there, because that doesn't happen very often, and it seems like there's been a lot the last few years. And do you think it's that the pressure has gotten too great on these athletes, or do you think that we're more accepting as a society of what that pressure can do to you, or do you think something else is happening with these people?
Well, I think the Antonio Brown thing is a separate thing.
Okay, tell me
so
about that.
With Antonio Brown, there was years ago where they when he played for the Steelers, and they were playing for the Bengals. They were playing against the Bengals, and this dude named Perfect, who was known for like dirty hits, he hit this motherfucker. Bad, man, like real bad. Folded him up, and since that game, Antonio Brown hasn't been the same.
So do you think it's like a CTE type?
People say CTE, like that's the only head injury, but just because he's a football player. Sure. But it could be some other shit, some other brain thing, some other thing going on. He could have some kind of bipolar shit.
It could also be that he might have had something, like if he was bipolar, often bipolar disorder is essentially dormant until there's an environmental trigger. And that can be like a head injury, can do that.
He could be a maniac, but yeah, I think that's a separate thing. But I think you hit the nail on the head with all the other things. I don't know, because when you first mentioned it, I was like, well, because wait a minute, what country won that event that she was supposed to dominate?
I don't know, let me look it up. Petra Volova. I'm going to guess that she is Russian, but let's see. Slovakia. From Slovakia.
Okay.
That's not a powerful country,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, I think it's just that we're more accepting of the mental health issues and stuff like that. I mean, I think just back in the day, you would expect an athlete to just power through it, fuck themselves up, get that gold, and then fade into obscurity, because that's what happens to most. Right? They maybe if you're dominant, you get a Wheaties thing or something for a little bit, and then you fade the fuck away.
Yeah, you can remember like Michael Phelps because he won 15 million fucking gold medals.
Yeah.
But like, you can't remember the gold medal winner of fucking fencing from 2000 games.
And where's Michael Phelps now?
He had a mental health break.
Exactly. And and it's not just athletics, it's everything. I mean, now we know better, and so we got to do better. Some people have an issue with that, and it's like, even though they got people in their family that were killed by stress and burnout and overworking and ulcers and all this other shit.
But isn't that like, I feel like that is partially the source of a lot of this stress, right? Because it's not just them that's competing. They're competing for like their mom that fucking drove them at 3:30 in the morning every fucking day to go ice skate for 3 hours before school, all that kind of shit. You know?
Yeah. And look, and when it comes to the Olympics, yeah, you should be able to handle that pressure. Or get the fuck up out of here, right? But I think if it comes to a point where it's putting you in danger, or it comes to the point where it's having a negative impact on your life, like outside the competition, then you have every right to be like, fuck them.
Yeah, I think I don't think I've seen anybody who's like, maybe this is an indication of how we've changed as a society, but I don't think anybody's been like, oh, fuck this person, like, with Antonio Brown, I did see that though.
Nah, Simone Biles, you didn't see that?
Yeah, there was a little bit with her. No, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
So, I don't know. Yeah,
that's people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, though. They don't know the fucking pressure. That's somebody who works at a fucking mattress store talking about.
Of course not. Because listen, man, it rings in my head all the time. Something my mother has been saying since I was little. She still says it to this day, all the time. I'm too old to be saying yes when I mean no, and to be saying I'm okay with shit that I'm not. And so that rings in my head whenever I face that because it's that pressure to conform, to be liked, to please. And you go, yes, okay, of course, yeah, I can take care of that. And you can't, and it's crushing you, and you're not sleeping, and you're burnt out, and you need a break, but you won't do it. I do that shit. I'll say no in a motherfucking heartbeat. I need a nap, goddammit. I'm gonna take one. You know what I'm saying? That's me right now, and I advise everyone to do it. I do recognize everybody's not in a position where they can do that. But what I do know just from living life is that oftentimes you have more power than you are aware of, and we're conditioned to accept that we don't. We're conditioned to just accept the situation instead of being like, just one of these days, I challenge you, if you're in some kind of situation where you feel that way, where you feel like the walls are closing in and all that, and you can do a little research, I guarantee you have some kind of power that you aren't aware of. Or you might. I can't guarantee anything. I don't guarantee that. But I guarantee that you might. It's more likely than not that you have some power that you're not aware of that can make your situation at least a little better, or at least facilitate some kind of revenge, which is my favorite thing.
Revenge.
Yeah. What's the next thing?
You heard about this Bitfinex scam?
Bitfinex. Nah.
They laundered a husband and wife laundered $3.6 billion in stolen Bitcoin, and broke up the crypto transactions to make it harder to track down. And the U.S. government busted them last week.
Wait a minute. How did they steal Bitcoin?
Well, it's that so the U.S. Justice Department seized about 95,000 Bitcoins, which is equivalent to like $3.6 billion, from the wallets of two money launderers, alleged money launderers, Heather Morgan and her husband, Ilya Lichtenstein.
But, okay, wait a minute. Hold up. So now I'm confused. How is it possible for the government to take anything from a Bitcoin wallet?
Because they can freeze digital accounts of any type. They can lock you out.
Oh, so they can't get into the wallet and take the coins, but they can lock you out of the wallet.
They can lock you out of the wallet, and then they can try to unwind because it's on the blockchain. They can unwind how those coins got into the wallet, right?
Right. Because anyone can look at it. Okay.
Right. So essentially, there was a hack of Bitfinex, which was a platform for financial transactions in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
And they hacked it, and then they stole about 120,000. Now they found 95,000 of them, but they think they stole about 120,000 Bitcoins and sent them to different wallets. But then what they do is then they had a very elaborate system for selling and trading those coins that they stole to different wallets that then sold those to other wallets that then sold those to other wallets and so on to hide the transactions.
Wow.
So now they're fucking caught in 4K because like it's all on a public ledger.
On the blockchain, right?
Yeah, it's on the blockchain.
All they were really doing was leaving more evidence.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like if nobody had noticed where these things came from, then they might have gotten away with it. But,
okay, so how did the cops know it was them?
I believe that they got essentially a digital search warrant for Alphabay, which is another site that runs these transactions. So that's fundamentally the scam, is that they funnel it through different kind of black box transaction platforms.
This is my take. I think so. There's two lessons to come from this story. One is you need to be fucking with this end-to-end encryption. You need to be fucking with what. I'm not going to plug any specific one because ain't none of them sponsoring this. But there are not yet. But there are password managers out there. Okay, and I did over the pandemic. I discovered the ones that I tested them all. Actually, I tested a lot of them. I don't know if there's all of them, but I tested about 10 or 11 password managers out there, and I took a whole day and just went. So okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Password managers basically, so the one I use, it has a Chrome extension or a Firefox extension or a Safari extension, and even an Edge extension. It's an app on your phone. It's an app on your computer, and what it does is, it can digitally. It will make your password a random thing, and you have a master password to get into the password manager, and then it automatically fills in a password that it made up. That's like 15 digits long and random characters and all this stuff. So the only password you have to remember is your master password. And it's just random shit. It's like more secure because most people have about 2 or 3 passwords they use for everything. You know what I'm saying? And there's a website called Have I Been Pwned? Have I been owned? Am I owned? Or something like that. And you could put your password into this website, and it'll tell you whether it's been stolen, whether it's been used, whether it's on the black web, whether it's common, and so you can use one. And let me give it like there's one called LastPass, there's one called Dashlane, there's one called 1Password if you're an Apple person, there's one called Bitwarden if you want some shit that's free and open source. But they all do pretty much the same thing with various levels. But they'll go through all your motherfucking passwords and tell you which ones are weak, which ones have been stolen, which ones everybody used, and it'll scare the shit out of you just how exposed you are, just how easy it would be to hack into your shit. And a lot of people, they have shitty passwords and they use them for everything. And if somebody gets into one fucking thing, they can fuck your whole shit up, especially your email. Somebody getting your email, they can go into your bank and say they forgot the password, had an email sent to your email that they have access to, change your password to some other shit. It's like, just use a password manager, man. It'll take about maybe 2 or 3 hours for you to go through and change all your shit. And one of them will do it for you, but I'm not a...
I don't trust that shit. I want to do it myself. No. I mean, the one that changes all of them for you, I don't like that.
No?
I use, I mean, again, they're not a sponsor or anything
Don't
like that.
say them. Nah, fuck them.
There's a particular one that I use.
Okay.
And the reason why I like it is that it does sync across your various devices.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
That's
well,
helpful.
I think they all do that now.
Yes.
They sync across all your devices. So yeah, I have it on my phone. It's the first app I download when I get a new phone, and it can log me into everything. It logs me into all my stuff.
Well, so here's what happened with these two people, this husband and wife that laundered all this money. So this Bitfinex trading platform was hacked, and everybody knew it was hacked, and all this money was sent to different accounts, right? But all these wallets are unhosted. So that's the whole point of cryptocurrency, right? Of a crypto wallet, is that nobody really knows who owns it, right? It's that eventually, once they sent it through X number of intermediaries, then they sent some actual Bitcoin to a wallet that they owned, that they then converted into US dollars, that then went into a bank account that they owned, and that's how the Justice Department fucking caught them.
Stupid
right?
ass
And then they just followed the breadcrumbs back to the original hack.
Damn.
And so that's what they're in court for right now.
Right at the last minute, you failed to use. See, this is how sometimes low tech is better. You have to have a crackhead on staff. Okay, they could have saved a lot of trouble if they just gave a crackhead $100 to go withdraw money.
But here's the problem. It's like, it's that. I mean, you're 100% right, but it's the same issue with, like, if you steal a Picasso worth $50 million, well, you don't have $50 million until you figure out a way to fence that shit and convert that into cash.
Right. And
because if you try to sell a Picasso worth $50 million, everybody knows that you stole it.
So this is so that was the second point I was trying to make, is I think this is a plus for cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, because, okay, listen, if they'd stolen that much money in cash, they would have never gotten caught.
But it's fucking hard to steal that much money in cash.
Right. Okay, but let's just say they stole a significant amount of money in cash.
Sure.
It would have been almost impossible for them to track them down that way. With Bitcoin, it's possible, at least with blockchain. So some people, I guess that is another episode. But blockchain is the technology behind crypto. And I don't know if Bitcoin's the future, but blockchain is the future. There's way more you can do with it other than virtual currency. But, blockchain is where it's at. It's because everyone gets a copy of the ledger.
We're going to talk about that on a future episode because I disagree with you, but
okay.
But we may not disagree as much as.
Well, let's get an expert on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna get a guest or something. Talk about it. Okay. What's the next thing?
Next thing, let's continue our slide into a little softer.
Okay.
Situation. The thing that I wanted to bring up was that Marvel is going to be re-releasing the early '90s X-Men Jim Lee trading card set that was out. And what's interesting about that is that Jim Lee no longer works for Marvel. He is now essentially he's basically the equivalent of the CEO of DC Comics right now.
Okay.
And so Marvel has been they're They're going to re-release. It's all cards that were drawn by him, and they are releasing it with quotes from him that make it seem like he supports the re-release of these cards, but they're from like fucking. The quotes are from 1993.
Oh, you know what? It's fucked up. It really is. But it's very savvy. He did support the cards. And the quotes are something he said about the thing they're putting back out.
They're not lying.
They're not lying, but see here, okay. And this kind of wraps it up because this goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. Some people don't understand that there's a such thing as what's called a lie of omission. It's called a lie of omission because you can lie without saying something that isn't true. Right? Because a traditional lie is you saying something that isn't true. I'm trying to deceive you by telling you something that is not a fact, leading you to an incorrect conclusion, right? But a lie of omission is when I tell you something that is true that conveniently leaves out a piece of information in order to deceive you and leave you to the incorrect conclusion.
It's technically accurate, but substantially false.
Exactly. They are using the truth that is missing a key piece of information in order to lead you to the wrong conclusion, which is the same thing as lying. It's called a lie of omission, and that's what they're doing here. So, yeah, it's dishonest, it's fucked up, it's totally legal, and they'll get away with it. Unless, I don't know who got the deeper pockets here. I'm going to guess it's Marvel, Disney.
Yeah, but dude,
it's definitely Disney.
That's some fucking King Kong versus Godzilla shit where it's Disney versus Warner.
Nah, that ain't King Kong versus Godzilla. That's King Kong. I mean, that's Godzilla versus the fucking the paper boy. You know what I'm saying?
I was wondering where you were gonna go with that because I was like, well, obviously Godzilla's the king shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, what were you even talking about here? What were you talking about here? Godzilla versus King Kong. I mean, maybe you could even Godzilla. That's Godzilla versus somebody that don't stand a chance. I mean,
like King Kong.
Yeah. Whoa. No, listen. I'm with you on that. Yeah, King Kong doesn't stand a chance against.
I thought they actually played it fucking right in the movie.
Oh yeah, they played it right. Yeah, for sure.
King Kong got his ass beat like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I love the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it
too.
Yeah, well, did he get it 3 times in a row? No,
yes.
I mean, I thought he was 3-2.
They fought on the ships.
He won that.
Godzilla won that.
Godzilla did not win that.
Godzilla fucking threw that monkey into the fucking water and he couldn't swim.
Look, he had the last blow, but he went the fuck away.
All right, fair enough.
The point I was trying to make with my poor analogy was just that I don't know if Warner got deep enough pockets to fuck with Disney. You know, that's because that's what it really boils down to. And Disney's a Goliath in the media game.
It's AOL Time Warner. I mean, I don't know what the market cap comparison we should look up. Let's look up what
AOL Time Warner. Don't both those names make you think of the past?
Yeah, a little bit, but let's see. AOL Time Warner market cap.
It's so funny to have a company named AOL that has nothing to do with the internet, really, except that they overcharge everybody for it.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, because it's a weird thing out here in LA, everybody, where. And this is all these corrupt politicians and shit. But you can only, no matter where you live in the Los Angeles area, you only have 2 choices of internet provider. Mm-hmm. And in reality, you have one choice because for some reason, depending on where you live, I think they have some kind of deals with each other. Depending on where you live, one of them will give you some unbelievably shitty deal, kind of almost forcing you to take the other one. So, in where I live, it's Time Warner. You have to have Spectrum.
Do you think that it should be legislated like a utility, like fucking water and electricity and shit. And
Yeah,
gas.
I think the internet should be public.
I agree.
I don't think it should be privately owned at all.
I agree. We fucking paid for those fucking lines too.
I know. We gave the tech industry billions of dollars to build out our infrastructure, and we are still probably a decade behind South Korea. Or
if we're even that up to date.
Yeah, I mean, bro, if you ever go to Korea, it will piss you the fuck. If you ever go to Korea and log onto the internet, it will piss you the fuck off when you come back to the United States. You'd be like, how is it? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand Korea is like the size of Chicago or whatever, and it's easy to. But bro,
fine, fucking compared to Chicago, we don't have that shit in Chicago either.
Not Chicago, Illinois. It's the size of Illinois.
Well, even in Illinois, we don't have fucking 150 megabits per second or whatever the fuck they got over in Korea.
It's stupid. It's stupid over there. It's stupid. It's unforgivable. Honestly, to be honest with you, it's unforgivable the way we've been played here, and the way we still get played. And hey, listen up, Spectrum, Time Warner, you guys, you probably save $1 billion a year if you stop mailing me shit. Every fucking time I check my mail, it's 2 or 3 things from Spectrum asking me to buy other shit. And I'm talking about every day. And some of them they look like credit cards. Some of them look like past due notices. Some of them look like you won a prize. All these tactics to get me to buy all I want from you is internet. I wouldn't buy anything else from you anyway. And the only reason I'm buying internet from you is because I don't have another choice. I don't have any other fucking choice. I don't want any fucking else. And here's what's so funny too. They give you a little discount for going paperless. You know, like all the companies do. You go paperless. So I never get my bill in the mail. The only mail I get from them is useless offers. I'm not buying cable from you, motherfucker. I'm not putting my cell phone on Spectrum. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'd rather have Sprint before they merge with T-Mobile. I'd rather have Boost. I'd rather learn.
You gonna chirp your internet?
Huh?
You gonna chirp your internet?
Chirp my internet. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get how Spectrum behaves. But again, same company behind the. No. There's no way they're going to spend the money. No.
So
Marvel wins this fight.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I looked it up, and it looks like Time Warner's market cap is about $83 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to Walt Disney's $272 billion.
Yeah, it's not even close.
That's
$200 billion more than you.
If those were,
have a seat.
Yeah,
have a seat.
If those were fucking Dragon Ball Z power levels, it'd be bad fucking news for Time Warner.
It's 100,000. Yeah, have a
All
seat,
right.
mijo.
So let's finish up with, some super lightweight shit.
All right.
What conspiracy theory do you believe?
What conspiracy theory do I believe?
You actually believe?
Well, I mean, this is easy. This is an easy one. But believe is a loaded term because I don't believe. I don't claim to know the answer, but I do think that the Kennedy shit is suspect. And that's only because...
Sus as fuck, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, besides all of the little details and stuff that's happening, the Kennedy papers have yet to be released. And every president... Can you look this up? Because I think they were originally supposed to come out under Bill Clinton, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Kennedy was assassinated in what, 67?
I'm looking it up right
63.
now. Let's see. JFK documents. This is from December 15, 2021. Little new to learn in Wednesday's release of previously classified documents collected as part of the government review into the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Wait a minute. They were... No.
Well, the release still leaves more than 10,000 documents either partially redacted or withheld entirely.
Bingo. And
it says here, it's like, which won't be seen until December 2022 at the earliest under an order issued by President Joe Biden in October. They keep fucking re-upping it.
Well, this is my point. But when was it? Or when were they originally? Because when they were first sealed, I think they gave it 30 years.
Let's see. I'm looking it up right now.
So these documents were supposed to come out a long time ago.
But for many lawmakers, this is a CNN article. But for many lawmakers and transparency advocates, releasing all of the remaining documents as mandated by Congress in 1992 is about restoring faith in the functioning of government. 1992.
So now 92. So here's what it is. I think they were originally sealed for longer than that. They were originally supposed to be like 75 years or something, right? And then Congress in 92 was like, put them shits out. But they left some kind of loophole or caveat where it was at the president's discretion.
Okay.
Right? And then Bill Clinton said no, and then George Bush said no, and then Obama said no, and then I think it was the original Bush in 92. But first Bush said no, Bill Clinton said no, Bush 2 said no, Obama said no, Trump said no, Biden saying no. They all keep pushing it down the road, and it's got to make you wonder, what the fuck is in those documents that we can't see now? It's been how many years? Almost 60 years?
According to Biden, says in October, Biden delayed a scheduled release to, quote, protect against identifiable harm to the military, defense, intelligence operations, law enforcement, or the conduct of foreign relations that is of such gravity that it outweighs the public interest in the immediate disclosure. What does that fucking mean? What fucking sources
what
could
does
be
that
burned
mean?
From fucking 60 years ago?
To protect law enforcement, the military, intelligence sources, and foreign entities?
No.
So when you say, what conspiracy theories do I believe? I don't know what the answer to the Kennedy question is. So I don't know if I would say I believe the whole theory.
You don't have a particular pet theory that you're like, this is what I think happened.
Exactly.
But you're like, I do not believe the
official story.
I shouldn't say mainstream, because a majority of people do not believe the official story.
Because because here's what's so fucked up. If the official story is that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone from the balcony, or from the roof,
the book repository.
Yeah, from the repository to the blah 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 blah. That combined with all the other shit we have and know, what could be in those documents that's so damaging? So the official story can't possibly be the truth. Again, lies of omission. These motherfuckers, lies of omission. That's the theme of this episode. I think that's the title of the episode, right? Or will be.
Lies of omission.
Lies of omission.
I love it.
It's something they leaving out to draw us to the incorrect conclusion. So there we go. Is this episode 1 or episode 55? I'll let you decide. It's whatever's on your spirit. But this is the first episode of the relaunching BS Comedian, BS with Brian Simpson. Check out my Netflix special, the first episode of season 3 of the stand-ups on Netflix.
Hit him with that link tree.
Oh yeah, I'm BS Comedian on all socials. Hit that link tree. I'm coming to a lot of places. I'm going to be in Pittsburgh. I'm going to be in Virginia. I'm going to be in Maryland. I'm going to be in Wisconsin. I'm going to be in Portland. I'm going to be in Dallas. I'm coming everywhere. So click on that link tree. And even if you don't see your city up there, it'll be there eventually. Just check periodically. It's all industry stuff. Why the reason it's not there yet? Just trust me. I'm coming to your city. Check the link tree.